Welcome to my garage. My name is Nick Rudder, and in today's episode of detailing tips and techniques, I'm going to showcase various aspects of car care, including how to use a clay bar, how to select the right buffer, and how to use that buffer to remove swirl marks. Last but not least, I'm going to showcase various aspects of waxing and sealing your paint. So stay tuned and we'll get to it. Now the first part of a proper detail starts with a wash, which I've already performed on this Audi TT. And if you look at this vehicle, overall, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. However, upon closer examination, you'll see that it's riddled with swirl marks and some scratches. And this vehicle is a daily driver, so it's driven a lot, and therefore the paint needs a little bit of TLC. After I wash the car, the next step is to use a clay bar. Now, you might have heard this term thrown around before, and a clay bar is really unique in the sense that it removes bonded contamination, including industrial fallout, rail dust, environmental pollutants, and stubborn bug splatter, the type of contamination that a traditional wash is not going to remove. So the way a clay bar works is you have a bar, and inside this patty, there's actually an abrasive. And the abrasive, as you rub it across the surface, it shaves off those bonded contaminants. They stick to the bar because it's tacky, and then after you perform a section, you knead the bar and you trap the contamination, and then you proceed to the next section. So it's really simple to use. On a scale from 1 to 10, from 1 being the easiest and 10 being the most difficult for car care, this is easily a 1. So you don't have to be professional to do this. So take your bar, and the first thing you're going to do is you want to knead it up, because it comes as a patty to start as a block, and knead it multiple times. This will help soften it up. And you want to select a high quality clay bar that easily fits in your hand. The inexpensive clay bars, they're really tiny and they don't fit in your hand all that well. So using a clay bar like this, which is adequately sized, will save you a lot of time in the long run. And then the second most important thing is use a dedicated clay lubricant. Don't use a car wash, don't use a detail spray, use a clay lubricant. So after the vehicle's been washed and dried, take your lubricant, and you want to spray a liberal amount on the surface because you want ample lubrication. And then you simply take the bar after you folded it into a patty, and you want to hold it in the palm of your hand right here. What you do not want to do is hold it with your fingers, because what will happen is as you rub the bar across the surface, your fingers are going to work their way through the bar. So put it flat in your hand, in the palm of your hand, and then take it like this, and you're going to rub really fast, back and forth. This is not something that you go slow. I've often seen people go like this with the clay bar, and it's not effective. You have to rub quickly back and forth. And it's really simple. And at first, you'll feel the bar start to grab. That's perfectly normal. What's happening when it grabs is it's picking up bonded contamination, and you know that you're finished with the section when the bar glides smoothly. So just keep going on that same section. Now, you want to work one panel at a time. A hood is considered 2 panels because it's relatively large. And what a clay bar does by removing the bonded contaminants is it creates a perfectly smooth surface. Gloss comes from smoothness. So the smoother the paint, the glossier it'll be. And that's going to be the trend in this episode, is we're going to get this paint as smooth as possible by using the clay bar, and then by polishing the paint to remove any swirl marks and scratches. So after you perform that, you'll see just how dirty the bar is. This is all the bonded contaminants that it picked up as I rubbed the bar across the surface. So even a car that's in really good shape like this overall, you'd be shocked at how contaminated it is. And a clay bar can be used on the paint, on the glass, on the wheels, any hard, smooth surface. So the next step is to take your microfiber towel and wipe off any excess residue. And choosing a high quality towel is really important, and the reason why is because what's more expensive than a good quality towel is a new paint job or hiring a professional to remove a scratch that you put in the surface. And then before you move on to the next section, you want to take your clay bar, and this is really important, so pay attention, and you want to re-knead it. So after you perform the clay on a section, you re-knead it to trap the contamination so you're not grinding it into the paint. So then take the bar, and again, you'll make a patty out of it, so it's nice and flat and easy to hold on to. Besides the clay bar, there are alternatives. So the clay has been around the longest. It's been around for about 35 years. Another option for removing bonded contaminants from your paint is to use a clay mitt or a clay towel. And the way this guy works is this is a synthetic alternative to a clay bar. Compared to the clay bar, which is a putty, this is actually a rubberized polymer coating, and it's not sticky like the clay bar is. The way it works is you spray the lubricant on the surface, and then you rub it back and forth. And this essentially shaves off the contamination, and then they're wiped away when you use a towel. Another application for this is you can actually perform it while you wash the car. So if you run a high volume detail shop, this guy is great. And if you drop it on the ground, you simply rinse it off. But me personally, I prefer a traditional clay bar. So I'm going to clay the rest of this Audi. And then the next step, I'm going to show you how to select the right buffer for your needs. And then we're going to polish some paint.